Okay, guys. I think we're good. I think we're up. Today we're gonna do a little bit more of Dead Space 2. I know I posted the original video to YouTube already, but I stated that I'm gonna do timestamps for it. I'm gonna eventually get around to that. The way that Dead Space 2 is kind of set up, it's kind of hard to dictate when a chapter begins and when another ends. So unless I stick to literally just like chapter markers, like chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, it's gonna be a little difficult to like discern different, I guess, periods in the playthrough. So I was kind of trying to stick to like locations, but since it seems like we're kind of going back to certain areas in the campaign, I'm not gonna do that the way I wanted to. So we'll eventually get around to doing the timestamps for the original video and videos going forward with Dead Space. It's not like how it is with the first game with the Ishimura. Like it's very easy to discern where you're at in the game, but in this one, and I think in Dead Space 3 it's about the same. It's gonna be a little harder to break it up unless I don't know, unless there's like key moments for me that are like notable. I'm not gonna really break it down until later on. So I apologize for that. For those of you guys that are looking for clear and concise chapters, we'll eventually break it down in that way. But it's also a lot of work going through and trying to cut the video up because I basically have to rewatch the video and um, I'm trying to keep a rapid tempo of like putting out new content for you guys, and it seems like a lot of work to go back through everything that I've already done because it doesn't really make sense for me to do if I'm not seeing a lot of response to the work I'm putting out. So it'll just have to be one of those things I'll do in my leisure time. I'm not going to make it a big point to go out of my way to put all this effort into something that nobody's going to watch. So once again, forgive me for not making it a point to do in the beginning, but it's 3 hours worth of a video that I have to go through and basically figure out where the chapters are. So we're not going to do that right now. I'll have to do it on a weekend or something when I get more time. So yeah, hopefully you guys understand. But for those of you guys watching on Twitch, the video was posted to YouTube at Hoosier Marine Mac Gaming. The Dead Space 2, like first 7 chapters, I think, 7 or 8 chapters. So you guys can find out what I'm talking about there, get more context. The VOD might also be uploaded. So for you guys watching on YouTube, I don't know how long the VOD will be on Twitch, but follow us on Hoosier Marine Mac, and that's where you'll also catch us live. My Discord's linked in the description of my Twitch as well, so you guys can join my Discord, get up-to-date alerts, announcements of when we're going live. Also, it's a good place to find new friends, hang out with people, play games. I'm down for pretty much any game, if it's not like Call of Duty or something. So, feel free to come hang out, play a game with us, and yeah. Anyway, for the rest of us, we're gonna be playing the rest of Dead Space 2. I don't know how long of a video I'm going to go for. I'd like to at least make it a 2 hour play session, not PlayStation, but at least a 2 hour play session here today. I know the campaign, um, it's kind of on par with like play length as Dead Space 1, so if it resembles Dead Space 1 in any way, it'll probably be at least like a 10-hour play session total. But our first video was 3 hours and like I think like 20 minutes, so that's a good chunk of the campaign done right there. So we're probably around like a third of the way done, if I had to guess. There's not as many cutscenes either, which is kind of a shame. If I remember correctly, the first cutscene was towards the end of, like the first major cutscene, I should say, is right at the end of our play session, and it's when that one chick that was like guiding us through from the hospital all the way up until that point. She was guiding us through, and that's when like uh, the security gunship tore them all apart and killed that giant behemoth that was chasing us down. So yeah, like I said, it's gonna be hard to break down chapters because at least in the original game there were uh, some cinematic styled cutscenes that made it easier to identify where I was in the story. Not to say that there aren't very many of those in this game. It's just the original game did a better job of cutting up the story a little bit, and I mean, hats off to them. Like they did a good job of making the campaign seamless. We've been transitioning from one sequence to another relatively smoothly. No cutscenes, no. Well, I don't know if cutscenes non-existing is a good thing or a bad thing, but there's no like loading sequences. Like it's pretty much like you're fluently moving around, and I think that's really cool. I think for the time that the game came out, I think in 2011, if I remember correctly, 2011 is when Dead Space 2 came out. But for it to be that fluent without having any kind of like major stutters or freezes or like stopping in gameplay, like I think that's really impressive. And not a lot of games at that time had the capability. So once again, hats off to Visceral Games for the work that they put into it. That's one of the major factors that I um, enjoyed from the original game back in 2008. So keep on doing the good work, I guess. But you can't because I don't think Visceral Games is around anymore. I think EA sold them or got rid of them, which is a shame because Dead Space put the horror fucking genre on the map for EA and games alike. So yeah, hopefully there's another game that comes out that's true to form for the original Dead Space games and keeps that kind of play style moving forward. Anyway, enough ranting, enough flapping of the gums. We're going to get into some gameplay here. Can't exactly remember where we left off, but hopefully it's easy for me to retrace my steps. Let me tab out one more time. Oh, also, yeah, I was going to point out too, EA can suck farts because they've ruined everything that they touch. Once they started getting greedy and started enforcing like storefronts into all their games, and I don't know, the fact that a lot of the games that they own the rights to, they started enforcing connectivity to online servers, and it's made the games that they've made in recent years complete shit. And games that have done it recently that are more notable would be like, I guess like Helldivers 2 with the PlayStation Network account being required to be played. Like, or you have to have a PlayStation Network account in order to play Helldivers 2, and that's like probably the most recent game that's done something similar to what EA has done in the past, and I think that's a big no-no. I think that they gotta stop doing that because it ruins a lot of games, especially single-player games like Dead Space. Like, why even have that? But yeah, stand by. I'm gonna be ranting a lot, probably throughout the gameplay, just calling back to like missteps that the companies have made to like ruin their games that were otherwise great. So yeah, just if you're not into the rants, I apologize, but I'm just in that kind of a mood this morning. Also, if you're watching live, we're starting a little bit earlier than we normally do. That's because I'm trying to make up for lost time. I was supposed to stream yesterday, but I had a migraine, so I kind of sat it out. But, I do apologize, but that's why we're starting an earlier stream today, and we may even just continue it on with our multiplayer later on. But yeah, I'm trying to get some progress on these campaign playthroughs for you guys, so here we go. Okay. I have no idea where we left off either, that's the thing. Oh, okay. So, we're heading into the elementary school. That's where we left off. Now, like, when we first came through, like, the city was still, like, or the colony was still, like, relatively, like, recently under siege. Now you're starting to see a lot of bodies that are, like, outside of the, city, basically. Like, they're outside of these buildings, the atmosphere is, like, inhospitable. It's basically you're stuck in space. Like, there is no atmosphere, essentially. So all these people that got outside, they probably got sucked out of an open window, or they chose that as way to go instead of getting infected or turn into a necromorph. Yeah. Going to the elementary now. These are the original graphics. They have not remastered Dead Space 2. And looking at it, like, it's still a relatively good looking game, and it's pretty. There goes a kid. It holds up. I'll give them that. It holds up to like today's standard of like what games are expected to look like and sound like. Oh.
Okay, everyone. 15 minutes for recess. Play nice.
And you know what's kind of funny? It's not really funny. But back in the day, like video games, they were hitting all types of controversial notes. Like you had Modern Warfare 2 at the time that had a mission where like you go into an airport and they were just slaughtering a bunch of civilians with belt-fed machine guns, and like that's horrible by any standard. But like Call of Duty back in the time was crossing lines that weren't crossed before. Dead Space had dead babies and dead children in a game. Like that shit was not anything you'd see in any other game at the time. And um, I think that was appreciated because it was back when video games and developers, even films, like they weren't holding any punches. Like you had all types of stuff. Like even at the time, you had like games like, or not games, but films like Tropic Thunder that will never exist by today's like standards. So you had Robert Downey Jr. playing blackface. You had like um, what other movies were out back then that were really good? I couldn't even tell you, but like that's like the the pedigree of like what we had back then was unmatched. Like now games and movies are all just sugar coated and soft PC crap that nobody really wants, but they're just putting it out because it's it's marketing to like the newer generation of kids and I guess consumers, and it just sucks because the quality of everything now is just shit. That's why I'm enjoying playing older games like this because it's before the times of being soft and being passive aggressive with shit. And like I said, these games didn't hold punches back then. The downfall of these games wasn't the fact that the content was crap and watered down. The quality of the games were diminished greatly because of the marketing and like the I guess the approach from the company trying to make money through microtransactions and online service dedication. Like you had to be connected to their service to play the game. Like that's where these games failed. Not because of the story, not because of the gameplay mechanics. It was the story, or the story is what made it shine, and like the content of the story. But it's the business decisions of the companies and the development studios that made these games fail and continue to fail to these days. Like I was playing Halo, and what made Halo fail is the fact that they made everything a live service. But also before that, the story was also going to shit with Halo 4, 5, and Infinite. So the story was put on the back burner because they wanted to focus on the storefronts and how to suck money out of their community essentially, and just take advantage of everybody that loved the game and the franchise. That's why a lot of these games don't exist anymore. Like they're not making remasters. The studios aren't existing because they had to lay off a bunch of people. Like Visceral Games isn't around anymore because EA took a note from Call of Duty and said, "Fuck it, we're gonna," or not just Call of Duty but Fortnite as well. But they said, "Fuck it, we're not gonna dedicate time to the single player experience. We're gonna just suck money out of the multiplayer guys." And that's why you'll never see Dead Space games exist the way that they do. Like they're not gonna have a game that's like Dead Space that exists in today's market. I'm kind of rambling on here, but like this game was top notch for what it was back in the day, and it's just such a shame that it doesn't exist. Like it won't ever exist like this ever again. And you know, it's sad to say that the best games of today's like market all have some form of like a microtransaction or like a battle pass or a storefront implemented in the game, and that's where most of the attention goes to. Even Helldivers. Helldivers 2, it's a great game in its own right, but it'll only be successful because it's still marketing their own storefront. And granted, like you can still acquire the storefront just from playing the game. Without that storefront, they're not going to be profitable and they're not going to succeed in the near future. And PlayStation Network or PlayStation enforcing the PlayStation Network activation just to play the game further diminishes the game's longevity. Like the game will not be around long enough or longer if PlayStation continues to have like their grasp on the development studio. I think it's like Arrowhead is the people that are the people that made Helldivers 2. But either way, it's a shame that companies have such a big impact on storytelling in these games. Like I don't know. I'm just gonna go on rant sessions here and there, but yeah, I don't know, it's still fresh. I just logging into the game and seeing EA connectivity or EA could not connect to my online service or whatever. That's still like burnt into my memory here, and it's a shame. It is a shame. But anyway, let's get back to the story. Hopefully. Yeah, this game, like, you would never see a game like this in today. I'm basically just killing toddlers. If you were to think about it, like that's pretty dark and twisted, but you won't see this in newer games. Exploding babies. It's pretty fucked up. But that's what made this game great, because it's because it didn't hold any punches back. It just, if adults are dying, kids are dying too. So like it definitely had the self-based, I guess, to reality. That's why I love war games like that. They like urban conflict with civilians involved. I never wanted to see like kids and shit dying, but like that's something that actually happens in real life. So like it's impressive when the game keeps like a lot of the realism intact, and it keeps it as part of the story, because like that's stuff you're gonna see in real life. Like you're gonna see, not something you want to see, but it's something that actually happens in war. Civilians of all ages die, and the fact that they have kids in this story that are part of like the necromorphs and like the zombies and shit. It's not pretty, but it's impressive to see, regardless of like how you feel about it. Like it's not something I want to see, but like the fact that they have it, it's like it's a credit to their dedication to detail.
Be sure your children's vaccinations are always up to date. See a nurse today.
All right, so our last playthrough, I botched up all the reading, so like I'm just gonna show it on screen for a couple seconds here, and then I'm gonna just move on. You guys don't want me reading this, trust me. Like I'm terrible at reading. But yeah, for those of you guys watching on the video later on, you guys can pause it at this point. Alright, that's it. It's basically just like a note from the teacher talking about kids getting hurt in recess. Without games like this, you would never have the Resident Evil games the way that we have them today. Like, if you guys are fans of like the remasters, if you're fans of the remastered like Resident Evil games, those game mechanics that we enjoy so much would never have existed without Dead Space. without these games being developed, we would still be playing Resident Evil in the gameplay style where you have the map is a still image and your character is moving through it, and you can't like dictate like where you're looking from the player's perspective. It's based on the I guess the room that you're in. That all changed when Dead Space 1 came out. That's when Resident Evil 4 I think was in development, and when we saw major changes to the way that third-person games were made. So this is a gymnasium. I'm out of ammo for that. Okay, I'm gonna have to use my pulse rifle, whatever this is called. How do I get by this? Oh, I just pushed past it. Cool. Where to next? Do we have ammo for the pulse or plasma cutter now? Yes, we do. Alright. On to... what is this, the cafeteria we're going to now? Enjoy your lunch, eat your greens. Or, eat your green pellets. Okay, I wonder what the pellets are. Alright, where are we heading? That way? Well, hold on. Oh, they actually show it on my wrist now, like where I gotta go, and I can actually find different locations. Okay, that's kind of cool. Okay. Forgot that was a feature. I don't know if you could switch your objectives or switch your waypoints in the original game. I say the original, Dead Space 1. I don't know if you were able to do that before. I think it was only where your waypoint was set to.
Recess is over.
Text log on our way out. Items here. Matic for the flamethrower. Text log. We're just gonna keep it on screen for a little bit. You guys can read at your own pace, and we'll move on. I'll give it like a minute. Like I said, I can't read for shit, so you're gonna hear me stuttering and watching words. Some of these words that they have in this text, the text logs don't make sense. It feels like you're using like weird language sometimes, so it kind of trips me up sometimes. All right, you guys ready? We're pushing on. Playground, warning, no teacher on duty. Okay. That's depressing though. Your playground is like just another room on the ship or the colony.
Still in denial? Afraid you're gonna cut your wrists if you listen to me?
I'm not listening to this. You may fool Strauss, but I know you're not real.
Oh, you claim I'm not real, and yet here I am?
You're just a hallucination. Strauss knows how to destroy you. He knows how to destroy the marker. We will destroy you.
How convenient. Destroy the marker and all the hurt and pain go away. Imagine that, Isaac. You'll never have to listen to your heart.
These scenes that feature Nicole from the original game, I enjoy them a lot because they kind of remind me of the Grudge movies. I think I forgot what they call them in Japan. It's not called the Grudge. It's like Raiju or something, or it's got some weird Japanese name. But the Grudge, like where the woman or the kid opens his mouth and it's like just like a like throat sound. It's very creepy in certain scenes. So like I like the fact that they added that to this game. I think it's inspired from that film series. That's if you're like big on horror, you might know what I'm referencing, but if not, then it is what it is. Maybe I'm not doing a good job of explaining it. I think that's kind of cool that they have her in this like that. Also, I think at the time, maybe
Isaac, it's Ellie. I found someone. Another survivor. He says he knows you.
Isaac!
I said, stand still.
Ellie, take it easy. His name is Strauss. I know him.
He looks twitchy. I don't trust him. Don't move.
Ellie, I need him to be not dead. I need him.
Shit. Okay, Isaac. I'll march him to the hub, but if he does anything stupid, anything, I will shoot him.
Another point, when Nicole like cuts in like that, where she's like just like tormenting Isaac, it reminds me a lot of like the cutscenes from Halo 3 where Cortana is like having like a flashback in Master Chief's like visuals, so like it like interrupts the gameplay just so you can like see some like not deformed version of her, but like some distressed version of Cortana. It kind of reminds me of those moments in Halo 3's campaign, and I'm not sure exactly when in the timeline of like when these games released, but I think it's cool because it reminds me of other games at that time when I see moments like that in this campaign. So it just sparks like that nostalgic nerve, like that feel good vibe, like back when video games were simpler and more entertaining. And I like those moments in this game where like Nicole kind of like flashes back to Isaac's memory. And also calling back to the points I was making before, where like the cutscenes are like kind of non-existent and the game is like fluent in transitions. A lot of these elevator sequences, I know that they're technically like loading sequences because that's when they do like they render everything further on in the story, and you're able to like bypass like loading sequences because it's like it's doing all the rendering off screen. I think that's a pretty interesting way to do it, and I like the idea of like not having a loading screen. It doesn't take you out of the game. Like in fact, me talking through it while the game is paused is doing more to take you out of the game than the game does itself. But I've always appreciated that it doesn't even feel like a loading screen, because like even when the elevator was started, you had that little HUD that came up with Ellie and what's his name, Strauss. They were like in the in the forefront of what was going on, and you can actually move around and look around, and it never really stops the game. It's always adding more content, and like you're always doing something, even when you're not doing anything, and it makes the game feel like it's like a seamless, like one instance kind of a game, which I don't think a lot of games these days do, and I think that needs to come back and be a part of like the focus. Because when you're playing a game, you're trying to stay immersed in it and try to stay in the game. And I apologize because I'm pausing the game and ranting and talking and shit, and I'm taking you guys out of it. But I just want it to be like mentioned, because if I don't mention it now, it'll be, you know, part of the gameplay experience, and it'll kind of like take you away from it even then. So I feel like the best time to talk about it is like through a pause and actually like breaking down my thought process. So anyway, let's get back to it. I would almost even say this game doesn't really need a remaster at this point. Like, I think this was on Unreal Engine 3. It's either Unreal Engine 3 or 2. 2 or 3. I don't think this game needs a remaster anytime soon, because it holds up. It looks pretty good. Like, yeah, it doesn't have the best graphics fidelity, but like, anything that they would do to improve this game now would kind of be a waste. They're just gonna have to remaster it again in 10 years, so you know what's the point?
Isaac! We're up here! Come on, move!
Hello, Isaac.
Well, this brings up bad memories. I barely managed to escape the CEC facility this morning.
Wait, you're CEC?
Heavy equipment pilot, class 4. You?
Engineer.
Nerd. Figures.
It's dark. You'll find me in the dark.
Shut up. It's okay, it's just a power outage.
You guys all right up there?
No,
Shit. I think life support's out too.
that's not good.
Our two remaining runners, Clark and Strauss. I knew it was only a matter of time before you reached the transit hub. You will find the train inoperable.
Are you insane? You cut off power to life support. There may be other survivors over here.
Public sector is already beyond acceptable recovery conditions. I can't allow you to escape. Goodbye, Clark.
Holy shit, Isaac! Look out! It's headed for you!
What's that? Oh. Get away from this guy. Those guys, you gotta focus on those weak points.
Isaac, are you alright? I think that's all of them. For now. Why did Tiedemann turn off the power? What did you do to piss him off so much?
LED. You know what a marker is?
Yeah. The unitologist on my crew wouldn't shut up about it. Why? Is it real?
Yeah, it's real. Tiedemann made one using codes. Patterns stored in our heads. Mine and Strauss. Everything that's happening on this station is happening because of that marker. I have to get to it and destroy it, and I need Strauss to tell me how.
You're a strange man, Isaac.
Will you help me?
We're about to suffocate, so I think I'm better.
Okay, good. Listen, we need power. Without it, we have no air and no train. Sprawl's gotta have backup batteries somewhere.
Yes. The solar array's up there. but they've been mothballed for years.
Okay, alright, good. I'm heading there now. If I can start them up and get some power to the train.
Cool.
You'll need someone to open the collector panels. I can do that.
Take Strauss and keep him safe.
Objective added. See, that's the thing too. The original game, like Dead Space 1, when you got a new update or a new objective updated, it actually showed you what your objective was. This just says objective updated, and then I have to pull up my map or my call it this, and then that's how I'll be able to see. And it transitions too fast for me to like actually like see it all in one go. I don't know why it even transitions, because it's all right there. Restore power to the transport hub. Okay, so I guess they could have just changed the font, or like maybe like made it a double line thing, but the fact that it scrolls across is kind of annoying. Like this one, get to the solar array base station, that doesn't need to be like transitioning left to right, or right to left. It just needs to be like a still image. And yeah, I'm not a fan of that. It is kind of cool, like there's like some like flavor text for each of the objectives. I don't think that's present in the original game. I say original, Dead Space 1. So, gives you an idea of like what your task is and why you're doing it. I will say Dead Space 1 had a better user interface as far as like pulling up your map, your inventory, all that kind of shit. I think Dead Space 1 did a better job. That's cool. It shows like the engineer outfit for the CEC. I like how dark this game could be too. It's like very eerie with its atmosphere and like the way that they approach the art style for this game. It's very cool. And then everything feels like it's like a lived-in space. Like it actually, like they did such a good job with like adding detail to all these environments that you're in, all these like rooms, everything. Everything seems like it serves a purpose, and I've always thought that was cool about Dead Space. It's what set it apart from other games at the time. At least for me, like the story, like I guess like the best game to equate it to would be like playing Left 4 Dead back in the day. Like you go into a safe room and you actually feel like it was like a lived-in space, because you got like writing on the wall and stuff. And, like there's like stories to be told in every room. And like this game, like you walk into this area, you're like, damn dude, like what happened here? And you can kind of like, look around and get an idea of what happened. And then also like aside from like the horrific events that happened in the game, you can see what the room served as, like what the purpose of the room was before the events like that happened that, you know, set everything apart from the norm. Obviously like this whole place is kind of fucked up and mangled, but if you look past that you can see like, oh, okay, so this was like a central hub where like people would, you know, travel to different locations. Like this would be board showing where the transit was going. This was like where you get your tickets, and then you'd go through that area. You had separate corridors that had different kiosks and stuff. Like I don't know, I just think that's really cool. Like that level of detail, like I said, it set Dead Space apart from other games. And even these billboards, like they put so much attention into the billboards. Like these are separate props. You won't see these like everywhere in the game. Like this is like a one and done prop. And it took a lot of time for them to build that prop and figure out where it would be the most useful to put in the game. And you know, I think that's really cool. Like I'm glazing the shit out of this game, and I think it does deserve a lot of praise. And I want games to go kind of back in time to like this level of effort and detail, because this is where like video games were like really good, and this is what ultimately made games people wanted to spend their money on and spend their time on. Not on these like storefronts that are basically a full-time job. Like people don't want to spend their money just to spend more money on something on top of their time. Like this is when a game was $60 and your $60 was valued. Like it was valuable. Like your time was also like cherished as well, because you would spend $60 on the game and then you would replay the game endlessly because it was such a good game and the story was so compelling. So it's like you spend $60 on a game, but you'd get like hundreds of hours of playtime in it. And Now it's like you spend $60 on a game and you get tired of it and you stop playing it after 20 hours or something. And that's also not to mention, like, after you've spent the 20 hours on it, you were also expected to spend more time and more money on the storefront. You can play like the DLC or like the you can have like some skin or some kind of cosmetic that serve you no purpose otherwise. Like, you know, I don't know, like the way that the games have been made now, and I'm gonna keep on bitching about it, but like, this is where it was at. Like, this is how games should have been continued to be developed, and it's a shame that they didn't. And Dead Space 3 is also guilty of all the things I'm complaining about. That's why it's my least favorite of the Dead Space franchise. Solar array elevator. Chapter 7.
Ellie! How's Strauss doing?
With the power off, you can hear noises 3 blocks away. He's gonna give away my position.
Ellie, try to keep him focused. I need to know what he's trying to tell me.
The two, they're tight.
Let's check out the store real quick, and then we'll see if we can upgrade our rig and our gun. Yeah, this game, like, as much as I want to praise this game, this is also kind of where EA kind of took some of the missteps that made the game franchise fail. They started focusing on real life transactions in the game, in the storefront, and it honestly kind of soured my enjoyment of the game in some ways. It needs to be mentioned, at least for me. I think that's a big misstep for EA and Visceral Games alike. Like, all this slop that's here in the money store or in the shop, all of these items, I think they were paid, like, IRL, like, items that you can spend money on, and because they stopped supporting the game, they had to just like release it all as free content, and that's why it's all being dumped here. Otherwise, none of this would be displayed, and it just looks really shitty to me. It also kind of takes away from the gameplay experience, because a lot of these items, if you play the game for the first time, a lot of these items are just dumped on you in the very beginning, and you shouldn't even have access to it, because a lot of these things require you to get schematics and blueprints for them later on through the campaign. Since they're store items that were just given to you from EA, they're given to you at an early stage in the game, and it kind of takes away from later on, like, features. Because, like, I'll have access to all of these weapons on day 1, or like the first playthrough, and it's just a shame, because it does take a lot of the immersion out of it, like, as far as, like, okay, like, how do I get the next and best armor, or like the next best gun? Oh, I just go to the store and I'll have it off the bat. Not a fan of that. Okay, well, let's see, what does this see? Respectability unlocked. Okay, well, I don't want to be respecting anything. But it's just a shame, because all of that was just, it's all things that are problems now that were only introduced because they failed at supporting their game, and they're saying fuck it, like instead of just reimbursing everybody their money, we're just going to make it all free for everybody to play from now until the end of time. It should never have been a part of the game to begin with, and I don't know, I'm just not a fan of features like that. I think they really do a disservice to like fans of the game, and it's not really that they're making those features for the fans, they're just making it for the people that are like perpetual consumers that just can't help but buy and spend money on things. If it were me, I would rather just have everything in the game be free to unlock and be rewarded to you based on time investment and achievements rewarded. Like kind of like back in the day with Halo 3, where if you got certain achievements, you unlocked certain cosmetics, and that was the only way to get them. So that way, like, you could showcase it and actually have like some kind of like a standout factor. Like you were kind of like above everybody else, but not that you were. It's just like all cosmetic. But like everybody sees that you have a certain armor, they're like, wow, dude, that guy's cool. How did he get that? I want to get that armor. Oh, you have to play the game and do certain challenges. Some people, that would be enough to motivate them to play the game more, and that's how it should have been. The fact that you could just unlock things from the storefront and pay your way through to get certain things, I hate that. I absolutely hate that. And it's a shame that games will never go back to that way of like development, and I don't know. It just leads to poor quality games, in my opinion, when everything's just purchased through your store or purchased through real life transactions.
Has been issued.
Ellie, I ran into a snag. It looks like the docking pod that runs to the solar array is floating at the bottom of the shaft.
That figures.
Don't worry. I can fix this. I'm heading outside to have a look.
Alright. Elevator maintenance bay. It's added. Think about that. Okay. So I can't punch that. I'm gonna save some ammo and just punch it, but I guess I'll have to shoot things from now on. Alright, we gotta go down. I think Dead Space 1 did a better job of like the zero-G movement. I don't like how they made it to where you can't change your pitch of your character. You're only able to change it to where, like, if I look around, that changes like where my body is oriented. But the only way that I can correct my body is if I orient to the ground, and it's very jarring because what I just did, it just snapped to like how it would be like because the floor is that way, right? Your only option to rechange your character's like orientation is to orient to the ground, and I don't know, it's just really not that great. Like if I want to look around now, it's like my character's gonna be all types of like diagonal and upside down and shit. But at least in the original Dead Space 1, if you at least on mouse and keyboard, if you hit Q or E, it rotated left and right, so your character would always be able to orient like freely. Shame that they decided to do it this way, but it doesn't ultimately, it's not a negative thing, it's just something that I wish was wasn't changed, because it is kind of jarring. Right now I just kind of rotated and snapped it. If you guys don't understand what I'm talking about, maybe if we watch the Dead Space 1 playthrough, you'll kind of get a better understanding of where I'm at with that. There's a lot of scenes in that game where you're going through zero gravity and having to orient your character in certain directions in different ways. So, yeah, just for reference, the older videos will probably be a better example. than what I'm talking about.
Ellie, I've got the elevator repaired. I'm heading up to the array. How's Strauss doing?
How do you think he's doing? Can you hear this shit?
He's hallucinating, Ellie. It's part of the sickness.
This is going to be trouble.
It already is. Just keep moving.
That's supposed to be the planet Saturn. So we're on the moon Titan. So if you're familiar with like astrology or not astrology, but would it be astrology? The study of like planets and shit, solar bodies. The moon Titan is one of Saturn's many moons that they have and that it has. So it's kind of cool that like it's a real place that we're on. It's just not like not real in the sense that like we don't have a colony that's on the moon Titan, but an interesting idea. Okay, so not that. We're gonna go back. Go away. Solar array elevator. What do I gotta do? Oh, there we go. Guys coming from? I'm just realizing like we're like floating above the city, technically, like tethered to like the elevator. These guys just floating in space and latching onto this thing, or what? Now we're above the city.
Arriving at Solar Array Sigma 05.
Oh. was making that noise. Automatic for force gun. Okay. Probably not going to use that gun, but cool. We got birds.
To solar array Sigma 055. Proper identification is required. Please wait here. Watchman Howard Phillips will be with you shortly.
I don't think he's going to be here shortly. We got birds in cages. I like those birds. Yeah, there's Howard. He was a bird enthusiast. Like I said though, like all the props in this game, like the level of detail that they put into things was unmatched. Like every room had different props, different things that required you to like have like different level of like detail, and you're not gonna go anywhere else in the campaign and see like birds like this or like props on the wall or like these posters for the birds and shit. That required like a little extra love and attention from one of the developers to put into this game, and you just don't find that kind of detail. Everything in most games these days, they reuse like Unity store items, like prop things that are like generic items that all games have, and it's just like a remasked version of that item from the store, and it requires very little effort or work from the development studio. Like these things, these birds, all this stuff, like everything, all these little props, these all had to be manually made by somebody from Visceral Games. Like there wasn't like a storefront where like the developers could buy generic props and just install them in their games like they have today, like with Unity. I think it's Unity. Anyway, there's a lot of props that you can just buy and have the rights to for like generic games. That's why it's like an ongoing like meme these days. Like most games on the internet or like that are on Steam are just like prop flips. I think that's the expression, but it's basically where they make a game that's entirely comprised of like items from the storefront that are just jumbled together to create a game. And yeah, I just don't like games like that. I think they're very lazy. But this game, when it came out, was unmatched. Like the level of detail, like these posters are kind of cool to look at because you won't ever see these in the rest of the campaign. This is like the only place you'll find them. Anyway, back to reading. I'm gonna leave this up for a minute. I'm not gonna read through it like out loud, so I'll leave it for a minute. You guys can digest the information, and in about 30 seconds, and I'll scroll down. And then if you guys are watching the VOD later, you guys can pause it at any time and read on your own. Scroll down. Alright, that's it. Yeah, so this guy was lonely. He had birds. That was the only company he had. He was basically one person that was manning this entire power station here. Kind of like a lighthouse, like how you'd have like a lighthouse keeper that would maintain the light tower, ships and stuff. Kind of like the same premise. Is this like his kitchen area? It looks like an oven, coffee maker. Yeah. Main array access.
Your rig is not authorized to access this area. Please step away from the door.
You know, it's actually kind of crazy. How did Howard die up here if he was the only person living up here? You would think he'd still be alive. Like, there wouldn't be any necromorphs that would be up here. His body's, like, mangled to all shit. So, like, something came up here and fucked him up. And I don't know how they would have gotten up here without being other people.
Rig authorization recognized. Greetings, Station Watchman Howard Phillips. I hope you slept well.
Yeah, he's sleeping right now, but he's not well. Also, if you guys were watching my videos before when I was playing the Doom Eternal playthrough, which I will not recommend that game to anybody. It was terrible gameplay for me, but it was a holographic, like, Cortana at home kind of imitation kind of deal. Like, kind of like how this chick is floating here. She's a hologram. There's a couple instances in that gameplay that I pointed out where I wanted to play Dead Space because of that, and this is what that moment reminded me of. It's kind of out of context, but if you watch those original Doom Eternal playthroughs, there's a holographic chick that pops up, and every time that she came up, I only thought about Dead Space. Like, that's what that did. It just reminded me of this, and hence why we're playing Dead Space now.
Unauthorized visitor detected. Auto defenses activated. Station Watchman Howard Phillips. Please provide verbal access code to authorize your guest.
Verbal? Too close to that. Have to disarm the traps with an item. That was close. Why are there dead babies up there? Little toddlers. Our grid room. Text log. Alright. We're gonna pull up the text for you guys that care about the lore. I'll leave it up for a minute and then we're moving on. I'll scroll down in like 20 seconds. Scrolling down. Alright, that's it.
Attention, Watchman Howard Phillips. Unauthorized engagement and access lift detected. Please respond.
they're harder to deal with in this one than it was in the original, or in Dead Space 1. They're quicker. Harder to acquire them as a target. Which is good. I like that little bit of difficulty. Impale that guy with this little spike here. Back up here.
Mark, I know you're up there. Understand that even if you survive long enough to restore power, there is no escape. All routes in and out of Government Center are being monitored. Give up, Clark.
I forgot what Tideman's role was in this story. Why he's against Isaac Clarke. That's because I have pay attention anymore. I should start paying attention to the story instead of just talking through it. Oh shit, that scared me. That got me a little bit. It just popped up, and I'm sure it was visible, I just wasn't watching. Here I am talking about I should pay attention to the story. I should pay attention to what's around me too. How much plasma cutter ammo do I have? 15 shots. Okay, I think we're gonna be using the what kind of gun is this called? Pulse rifle. Okay, so I was right. For some reason, when I thought pulse rifle, I was thinking of Aliens, like the P40 or the M4A1 pulse rifle or pulse cannon, whatever it was called.
Urging life support.
Life support? Why? Why, bitch? Why are we venting that shit? I do think that's kind of cool though, like when you're in like 0G or like when you're in the vacuum of space, the audio changes, so it actually like you lose the ability to hear things as well. It's a little bit more atmospheric and creepy. Your mainframe access.
Unauthorized visitor. Mainframe.
Oh yeah.
This is Director Titan. Disable all solar array functions immediately.
Initiating system lockdown. System lockdown complete.
Sorry, Clark. I know what you're trying to do, and I cannot allow you to succeed. There's too much at stake.
Unauthorized visitor. Mainframe.
Do the right side first. And it's kind of cool if you guys ever watched Event Horizon. There's a scene in the movie where he's going through like by the what's it called, the gravity drive area where he's like changing circuit boards out and stuff. This is what that scene reminds me of, or this is what the game reminds me of. It reminds me of that scene from the movie, Event Horizon, which is another really good movie I recommend people watching if you're into sci-fi horror.
Unauthorized access to the computer mainframe is a violation of Titan Station Civic Code. Replace all panels and back away from the fuse board.
Yeah, they don't make games or movies like they used to, man. Like those older films, like from like the 80s and shit, or like late 80s, early 90s, those were really good. I always enjoyed those movies.
Unauthorized visitor. Mainframe.
Okay, hold on. I forgot there's icons with patterns on them. What do I have to match it to? Show me what I have to match it to? No, so I guess we're just plugging in, playing, seeing what matches and what doesn't. Okay, so those symbols you gotta put in that way for this way to open up, I guess. Sure. Oh, okay. Maybe the icons were displayed here? No.
Unauthorized visitor. Mainframe.
Okay, we're gonna disable this side.
Warning. Mainframe electrical shielding has been deactivated. Proceed with caution.
Yeah, these like little green diodes and stuff that you see. That just reminds me of Event Horizon so much. I think that's what inspired that little this little scene here where you're going through the called the access panel.
Unauthorized visitor. Mainframe.
Now we're on the left side. Panel out of the way. That panel. Panel 2.
Unauthorized visitor. Mainframe.
Oh, okay, so here, down on the ground, that's the pattern you have to match the symbols to. Okay. You got a full square on the left top. Okay. Crosshair on the bottom right. Bottom right, crosshair. Bottom right. Full square, top left. Okay. Bottom left.
Unauthorized visitor. Mainframe.
Top right.
Mainframe containment compromised. Security has been notified.
I think also at the time too, games didn't really have physics like this where you can interact with like items and move them around as much. It wasn't something that they really focused a lot of effort and attention to. And that's what set this game apart at the time when games really didn't do that a whole lot. Like, those features, they're like commonplace now in a lot of games these days, which is kind of something that you can easily overlook. But you got to remember, this came out back in like 2011, or like 2010 or some shit like that. Even before this game, Dead Space 1 did it even better. So you had Dead Space 1 came out in I think 2008. I compare things to that, and impressive to see how direct result of like the efforts that these guys put into their games. And it's not just like these guys. Like Halo also was really big on
Circuits are
physics
extremely
details and
fragile.
shit.
Please step away. Damaging the mainframe circuits will cause lapses in programming. For your safety, step away from the circuits. offline. Lockouts offline. Station reverting to manual operation only.
Offline.
Kind of looks like Jill Valentine from Resident Evil 5. That hologram. That's what it reminds me of also. Healing up there, bud.
I'm on my way to the mirrors now. I have to realign them manually. Hal Strauss.
See for yourself.
No, I'm not ready for the needle again. You have to let me out. I can't breathe. Let me out.
Strauss, what's wrong? Ellie!
He's waiting for me.
Kind of weird though that they decided to make floating babies in the pool when they have these guys with tentacles. They have like there's two like different types of necromorph types for infants. Calling back to it though, like how I was saying, every room kind of has like a purpose, and it makes you like wonder what the story was before everything went to shit. Come in here and you see like this little chair here with it had a guitar. Oh, I just moved the chair. Whoops. It had a guitar prop next to it. Ah, fuck it. Whoops. Move it all around. This is definitely like a place that the guy came to just kind of chillax and play his guitar and just enjoy the day. He even had like little magazines for his birds and stuff. And yeah, I think it's kind of cool. Like, it makes you wonder what these areas were used for, and props like that make you think. Where that guy was, or what that guy was doing at the time, or what the area served a purpose for. I'll call back to the idea of like Left 4 Dead with the safe rooms. Like you wonder like what survivors were thinking, or what the purpose of like holding out in certain locations was, and then you see like the writing on the wall, like it tells a story in its own way. And I appreciate small details like that in games, like not directly telling you what happened or not directly telling you what to think, but it breathes life. It breathes life into the story in a way that doesn't exactly require a cutscene or handheld like storytelling to take place. It's like you just look at the environment, and the environment kind of serves its own storytelling, I guess. Text log. Time to you guys read it. About a minute, and then I'll take it down. Move on. on. Maybe not a minute, but you know, give you guys a little bit of time to read. I'm not reading out loud because every time I do, I fucking sound like a retard. So, refrain from showcasing our ability to read. I'm probably illiterate, so for your own goodness, I guess. You guys have trouble having to listen to me talk and try to read. Array control pad.
How do you do it? How do you hold it all inside? Your face never betraying your pain. No one would ever know the guilt you feel. Never know the dark thoughts you keep.
Yeah. Like I said, those little Nicole moments where she's like torturing Isaac, I think those are kind of cool because it kind of brings me back to like playing Halo 3 or watching the Grudge films. It just reminds me of those. Kind of like more of a nostalgic vibe than anything else. This game came out around the time that those films, that game came out, so not really too far as far as like the time is concerned, like when those things came out and when this game came out. So the influence was there. What do we gotta do here? We gotta reline some stuff.
Entering zero gravity.
We have to line these solar panels with the sun, so we have to draw power from the sun, and essentially. That's the
Ellie, it
colony
looks like
down
two of the
there.
mirrors are out of alignment. How's he doing?
He's stopped hyperventilating, but I don't know how much longer he's gonna last. I knew he would just slow me down.
If Strauss dies, so do my chances of destroying the marker. Keep him alive and get to that panel.
So we're aligning these mirrors with the mirrors that are in the center, and I'm not exactly sure where I gotta go to align. I do wish that they kept it to the original zero gravity, because like I don't like spinning sideways. I wish I could just orient my character in the proper way, and it is a shame that they chose to do it this way, because it does kind of make it a little bit more complicated, to say the least, or like it's disorienting when I have to spin around, and then like the only way to fix it is to orient to the ground. 'Cause everything in zero gravity is all spun around, and
All right, Ellie, one down.
you know, sometimes
How's
it's just
it
easier
going?
to orient
I'm
based
trying
on
to
the
roll back
object
cover
than,
now.
rather than the ground.
Strauss, can you give me a hand with this?
Oh, he'll hurt me. I'm not strong enough.
I promise I'll protect you. Now, just get over here and give me a hand. Here. Something covering the collector panel. Oh my god. There's thousands of them. They're breaking apart.
Ellie, get out of there!
Oh my god, they're heading this way. Run, Strauss, run!
Ellie, come in! Ellie! Shit.
I will say though, like if I'm gonna complain about this game in any way, I don't like the zero gravity mechanics. I kind of wish that they just stayed true to form, as far as like the original game was concerned. There's no reason to change it. They had it fine the way they had it before. Maybe that's just me. Like you definitely move a lot faster in this, in space or in zero gravity, but it's not as smooth. If I want to change my direction, like I'm 90 degrees from the floor, I should be able to gradually rotate at my own pace, but it just automatically transitions to orient to the ground when you choose to like reorient. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, maybe I'm not doing a good job of explaining it, but I'm just not a fan. Not a fan. Not a fan. It does make it like a little bit more nauseating and like it a little bit confusing sometimes to figure out where I'm supposed to be looking or how I'm supposed to be orienting my body. One thing it doesn't need to be complained about, but I'm gonna say it. It's not gonna change anything now that I'm complaining about it. The game's already out. It's been out for 14 years, but something that I wish they just changed the approach a bit more, just to make it a little bit easier to play.
Shit, Isaac!
Ellie! Ellie! You alright?
We just made it to the crossover tube when the beam hit. Isaac, those things are still heading towards the transport hub. They're wrecking everything in their path.
Holy shit, they'll cut us off. Get to the hub! I'll meet you as soon as I can!
You see the Ishimura. That's cool. The fact that they have that detail in here is really cool, because it's not introduced yet, but it's right there. It's docked in one of the ports or whatever. And that's neat. Cool thing to see. To the untrained eye, you're not going to notice it, but somebody that's played the game before, it's something that you'll notice. Like, it's like a subtle detail that is easy to pick up on once you know it's there. We just now brought back power to the transit hub for Ellie and Strauss to make their getaway, and now we're going to go down to meet them, hopefully. With all the talking I've been doing, maybe you guys lost the idea of what we're trying to accomplish here, but run down.
Exiting zero gravity.
Ellie, come in!
Isaac, we have to cross to the government sector before they cut us off. You'll never make it down here in
I'll
time.
be there! I'll be there!
Stability detected in the array alignments. Emergency ejector systems initializing.
Square. Where's all this floating debris coming from? Oh, that looked like a gap. I swear that looked like a gap. Like the little like beige looking area of that. I was going for that. I didn't recognize that that was like a copper panel or something. It just matched the planet in the background. Second death, I think. Yeah, our second death of the playthrough, because I think our first death was like a weird situation with the stasis module in the hospital. Yeah, like what is that I'm looking at? It's appearing on screen now, like. The pathing isn't even obvious until you get close to it, but panels look like the background, so I was like thinking it was like empty space. That's why I was going for it. This city's massive. This colony is big, dude. It's kind of crazy to see now.
outside! Hurry!
We're going to sell some stuff real quick. Oh, wait. What kind of things do we have here? Yeah, like since they added stuff to the store that were like previously things that you had to buy, and the only reason why they did is because they stopped supporting the game. Since they added all those like purchasable items to the game, it kind of makes everything else kind of lose its value. Like I see the Seeker rifle. This is the original one you're gonna get from the schematic, but since you don't need the schematic because of these store items now, it's all added junk in my opinion. In fact, the newer stuff, the stuff that you have to pay money for, has like they have like abilities that are they add passive like bonuses and buffs. You would never want to use the original stuff anyway, and I think that's kind of lame. I don't like that. But yeah, a lot of these cosmetics, they're not just cosmetic, they also have passive abilities that incentivize you to use them just based on the bonuses rather than just the cosmetic look. I don't like that approach. I think it was a misstep, but you know, what are you gonna do? It's already out. It's already happened. Like this armor that I'm wearing now, it's not even armor you're supposed to be able to have access to until like either I think you have to purchase it or unlock it through beating the game and doing certain achievements or something. But because I have access and because it has such good bonuses and buffs, I'm just using it. Otherwise, I would be using like the normal CEC. Or no, I wouldn't be CEC. I think it'd be EarthGov. It'd be like it would look similar to this, but it would be all blue.
Isaac! This way! The train is this way! Are you crazy? Isaac, I'll try to open the CEC door on your level. Hold on. Piece of shit lock. I'm giving it my codes, but it's not working. Yes, I'm authorized for this. Oh, you bastard! There! It's open! Isaac, go! Go, Isaac! You can't stop them all! Go!
Oh, you know it? She has a point. Just wasting ammo. Good thing I listened to Ellie.
guys there? Did you make it?
Shit, Isaac. Just... shit.
Hey, take it easy. It's okay.
No, it's not. I was right here this morning with a crew of 30 people. But we were overrun. And before I knew it, they transformed. I had to cut the arms and legs off my friends just to escape. I'm sure there's pieces of them still lying around here somewhere.
Ellie, I know. I'm sorry.
And here I am again. I've just walked one big fucking circle today.
We'll get through this. Let's figure out how to meet up.
Right. There's a central hub in the main facility. Here are the coordinates.
Alright. Chapter 8. DEC main facility entrance. Like this game, this one, like the gore, like I don't know if I played the original Dead Space recently, but I know in the remaster, there's something about the gore that just seems off in that game, even though it's like a newer game. It came out in 2023. This game being 2011, like bodies, like all the corpses, they actually look a little bit better, like as far as like level of detail to like see what happened to them, like anatomically, like to their, like what happened to their body. You kind of see it a bit more graphically. I think once again, the level of attention to detail can't be understated. Like I think they did a really good job here. And for it being a 14-year-old game, like compared to the game that just came out in 2023, you know, they were definitely cooking here. Entrance, worker entrance. Alright, this is a... no, it's an audio log. Cool.
All teams, this is Caleb, xenogeologist from Langford Shift 1. There's something in the facility. We've lost 3 of our crew and can't contact Shift 4.
Here comes the transport. Everybody get ready in case there's more.
We're abandoning our shift and heading back up. Everyone else is ordered to do the same.
Caleb, it's more of them. Shoot them! Shoot them!
Operation control room. Oh no. Transforming. Storage. There's a node here. Playing this game, it's always important to keep at least one node on you for situations where you come across the storage room. It's a good way to get munitions and, like in this case, a vintage suit schematic, which I may end up switching to if it has better storage. You know what? Okay, we'll switch to it regardless. And look for that vintage suit. Police uniform. Just backtrack to that store real quick. That's the only place you can change your armor out. This police outfit actually looks really cool, and I don't mind using it, but we're gonna take a look at the vintage suit. That's all about. Oh, I have to pay for it? Yeah, never mind. 40,000 points. Items at the store are discounted at 10%. So if I can get nodes for 9,000 instead of 10, I think it's worth saving up for. So let's actually save up for that. We'll put the vintage suit on, but it's not going to be right now. I just don't have the funds for it. So selling some stuff maybe, and then where we're at. So I've sold what I can. I'm at 27,000, so we'll need another 13,000 to afford that suit, and we'll put it on when we get the actual credits for it. Hopefully sooner than later, or at least before I forget about it. That's the storage locker I was just in. One of the break room. Loaded body out there. Gonna hit the glass. Yep, he pulled off the glass. Audio log.
Sorensen, do you read? It's Caleb, Shift 1. You guys better be right behind us. We're leaving a swarm of angry dead body parts behind us.
Caleb, come on! More are moving in ahead of us. I can see them!
Everyone move it! Go, go, go!
Records room. Where those bodies were changed. Very Grudge-esque. Like, I love that creepy, like, throat sound that they make, the Grudge, and it's like kind of like one of those moments that makes your skin crawl a little bit. If you were like really into that movie, you might know what I'm talking about, but I think it's a good touch for this game to have that. I think it came out around the same time that game came out, or the films came out. It's no surprise why it's influenced like that. To admin office. Okay. This is written in blood there. Alright, to fuel processing control.
Isaac, over here. The door is jammed. This must have been the last stand before it was left down here.
Can you get the door open on your end?
No. The circuits are fried. They must have fused the panel trying to keep those things out.
There's gotta be another way in.
The only other way is through the processing plant. But it's not meant for human traffic. Step boy. I think I can stop it from here, though.
Alright, do it.
Shutdown accepted. Systems recalibrate without notice.
The steps. He wants me to follow the steps.
Hold it together, Strauss. I'll be there soon.
like level design was amazing. Like I love this game and the way it's set up because like you come into areas like this and it's like it's not familiar. Like it doesn't resemble anything else in the game. Like I feel like every room is unique in its own way, and like scenarios like this, you walk in here, you're like, what the fuck is this all about? It's like the room serves its own purpose. So like, I think what was the name of this place? Pressurization control. So it like, yeah. So it had something to do with the atmosphere inside the the colony building or whatever this structure served as a purpose for. And you know, I think it's really cool to see like how the environment is different. Time to upgrade the old suit here. I'll get it upgrade all the way actually. And we'll upgrade that by one. Next we'll upgrade the stasis module, get that upgraded all the way, and then maybe upgrade the pulse rifle. Maybe my nodes are buying more of them.
Entering zero gravity.
I think I've hit a dead end. Looks like some kind of venting system up ahead.
Right. Manually shutting down the plant froze all the pressure valves in place. You'll need to find a way to force it open.
Once again, I'm not a fan of the zero gravity. It's very disorienting in this game. And it's one thing, like, if you're like moving around, looking around and shit, it's fine. But the fact that there's no way to gradually reposition your character's like orientation without flat out like orienting to the ground, like I think Z for mouse keyboard, yeah, it just like snaps to and it like changes everything. Dash thrusters. Keep complaining about it doesn't fix the problem. It just I need to let that out, otherwise I'm gonna just like stew on it for a while. You guys can feel however you want about it. I don't like it. Kind of wish that it wasn't this way, but it's one of my few gripes about this game. I'm not gonna say I like everything the game has, but
there you are. I see your friend has powered off the facility. Remind me to thank her for providing me with your location. I've locked the processing cycle on, and you in with it. It ends here, Clark.
It doesn't have to be this way, Tideman.
It does, and it is. Goodbye, Clark.
This guy's very annoying. Let me turn off those annoying visual tips because I'm not a fan of the fact that those keep popping up. Can I turn those off? Visuals, notifications on. I'm gonna leave that alone because I don't know what that is. It's not the same as the tips. Ah, fuck it. Wait, I just saw it. Tutorials, right? Oh, I can't turn that off in game. So that's something I'm gonna have to change on my own. Next time we start up the game. That shit, like how I have to orient to the ground, and that's the only way to reorient in person. It's fine if it's not as snappy, but it's like immediately like just snaps to it instantaneously almost, and it's kind of jarring. I'm a fan of that. Oh! As you guys know, because I've been bitching about it.
Can't you shut these things off?
No. Somehow Tideman declared me dead in the system. Now my codes don't work anymore.
You're kidding.
Oh shit. Something's coming. Strauss!
No.
Help me with the door!
I need you to see him. I need you to follow the steps.
What? No, just shut up and help me! God damn it!
Ellie! Ellie!
Down. Leviathan, kind of like from the original game. I say original, it's kind of like in Dead Space 1. This is kind of like the thing that was in space. That reminds me of the Peters from War. Like really long from that.
Okay?
Not really. Step 3, Ellie. Jump! Through the door! No!
Come off, I think I'm close.
Exiting zero gravity.
Like these corridors like this is unique, and I gotta appreciate when they do things like this in this game especially, because it's like every room is different from the previous one, so you're never really going through the same place twice. Well, in some cases you are, but it's definitely like a more lived-in space, because in real life you're not going to have like identical rooms everywhere you fucking go in life, and it just made the game more and more immersive at its time, because it just had that much detail and that much depth in it. Definitely glazing the game, like that's for sure. I do enjoy this game. I think they had something good. They definitely knew what they were doing back then. Video game development. Alright, okay, so this is the room that they were in before. Damn, so yeah, because I was on that side, and broke through the glass and came in. Pressurization tower.
God, Isaac. Glad to see you've got all your parts.
You alright?
Yeah.
There are 4 steps.
No thanks to Twitchy here.
1, 2, 3, 4. Step 4. She'll be waiting.
Jesus, Strauss. You okay?
It's getting worse.
What is step 4? Who will be waiting?
F the screws. F the needle. She'll be waiting.
He's not gonna make it. We gotta keep moving.
There's an industrial transport upstairs. Runs on the same spoke as the commuter train. It should get us to government sector. One of us will have to deploy it from the gear house.
Staring. Asking.
Stay here and, try to get him on his feet.
F the needle. She'll be waiting.
I've added. Prepare the transport to government sector. Overhear abuse. Chapter 9. You know what? I'm kind of pushing the time limit on this. I want to keep these videos kind of short and concise, so you guys can sit through and watch them. I say concise as I'm like rambling on and shit, but I don't want to push on into a newer chapter and spend like another hour and make this another 4-hour long video, just for the sake of YouTube, so you guys can sit and watch it and enjoy it a little bit. That saved correctly. Alright, check it out. Like our first playthrough, we did 6 chapters, and it was a 3-hour and like 20-minute long video. This is just shy of, or it's just now over 2 hours, so quit to main menu, make sure nothing happens there. Okay. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for today with Dead Space 2. We did 3 chapters, kind of like a little small recap. We restored power to the transit station for no reason. Or maybe not for no reason, but we restored power to it, and now we're getting ready to go to the government center. I just have to restore power or restore fuel to the gondola that's going to take us there. Obviously we just rendezvoused with Ellie and Strauss, so there's that. We did the elementary school. That was the first stage of the campaign, or the first chapter. We went through like that whole like portion where we're just killing a bunch of little toddlers and zombified kids. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. If you guys like this, feel free to subscribe and stand by for more content like this. If you guys aren't already doing so, follow us on Twitch at Hoosier Marine Mac. We're live most days, 7 p.m. Central. For those of you guys here live with us as well, I'm looking at possibly changing that to a different time period. The later afternoon hours are starting to not work for me as well. I might even transition into being a morning person. Like right now, we're streaming live and it's 7:40 a.m. instead of our typical 7 p.m. Central time period. I'm still going to be streaming later on this evening. It's just I wanted to catch up for lost time from the day that I took off from streaming and recording footage. So that's why we're a little early to our usual time period for streaming. Those of you guys watching on YouTube, it's not going to matter to you guys. You guys are watching after the fact anyway, but we are live right now. So anybody watching on Twitch, hopefully you guys enjoyed the morning show. And yeah, if you guys are looking for more content, or if you guys are waiting for new videos, hopefully you guys can find some entertainment in the Halo campaign that we're playing. we're doing Halo Combat Evolved. The first video for the campaign should be uploaded as I'm speaking now. So if you guys are looking for something to watch, hopefully you guys enjoy that. We finished Halo Reach, so all the videos are there as well as the original Dead Space game, or I shouldn't say the original, the remastered Dead Space. We did that, so both of those campaigns are finished. They're on my YouTube channel at Hoosier Marine Mac Gaming, and yeah, we're gonna be uploading this hopefully tonight. I'm gonna take some time to do a few other things before I start pushing through and uploading it to YouTube. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm probably not going to do timestamps for the Dead Space campaign, just because it gets a little difficult to dictate where like certain chapters are. I guess I could go through and just make the chapters literally whenever the chapter updates, but I don't know. Some of the chapters kind of seem a little redundant. Like I wouldn't know how to really break it down and classify each chapter outside of just like chapter 1, 2, 3, and I don't know. Not really a fan of that because some of the timestamps would be like maybe 15 minutes. Some of them could be up to an hour, and I don't think that's a good way to break down the video. So if I'm not going to break it down in a particular way, I'm probably just better off just not doing it at all. So you guys are just unfortunately forced to watch the entirety of it without having any clear indications of where certain things happen. Without me sitting through and watching the entire video and actually like paying attention to certain keynotes and deciding the chapters by that measure, it's going to be a little time consuming for me to do that. And considering the fact that I'm not getting paid to do any of this, and it just takes a lot more time to double back on my work that I've already done, we're gonna wait for a day to do that. It's not gonna be immediate, so if you guys are watching this as it comes out, unfortunately there's not gonna be chapters, but we'll look to getting that implemented in the future. It's just not gonna be right now, so I do apologize for anybody watching this as it's coming out. But if you guys are sticking around and you guys decide to wait on watching this, maybe in about a week's time you'll see that there's timestamps. It's just I'm putting a lot of effort and a lot of work into this, and it doesn't seem like it's being received well. Like, not a lot of people are watching, so it would kind of suck for me to rush to get this quality of like, or it would suck for me to put all this work into it now and strain myself and like stress out about timestamps for people that aren't even watching the videos right now. So it's more, I'm more directing this towards the people that are like watching live. But for you guys on YouTube, like all this nonsense I'm talking about, it's probably not going to matter to you because by the time you check the video, there's going to be timestamps on it anyway. So yeah, just know that I'll work towards getting it, guys. But just at the moment, it's not going to be implemented. Anyway, I've been talking long enough. Yeah, once again, check out our stuff on Twitch. Check out the videos on YouTube for those of you guys with us on Twitch at the moment. And my Discord is linked to my Twitch, so if you guys want to get alerts and notifications on when we're live or what we're doing, what we're playing, or just meet new people and try to socialize and gather in other games, that's the place to do it. Baxter's GoFundMe page is on my Twitch as well, so if you guys want to give it a look for some light reading or something, share it with your friends, let them know. Outside of that, that's pretty much it, guys, and we'll hopefully get another video for Dead Space out to you guys before Friday. But we'll see how things go. Friday the 28th. So if we're not playing Dead Space again by then, we'll be back live on Monday. I'll be taking the weekend off to go visit my brother. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for coming by. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. Hopefully you guys are all doing well and staying safe, and if I'm not providing good content to you guys, please let me know in the comments how I can improve it. Let me know where I can make things a little bit more entertaining and give you guys a better product. But yeah, anyway, take care. See you guys next time.